So if you haven't figured it out by now, this is a fairly new YouTube channel that you're watching. I might share this at another couple of places, but it's primarily a YouTube video for the Truck Photo Agency. Yay. What do? I make pictures of trucks. And I have modern new equipment, a Sony a7S II, which is a lot newer than what I use. I can use an iPhone if anybody can do that, unless they're on an Android. And I use this thing right here. This is a Graflex Speed Graphic, but that's not even the oldest camera that I have. I have an older camera, and I should have brought it out of the garage. Whoops. This is the 1920 Conley field camera, 5x7 field camera. So I utilize the Graflex and this Conley to make photos of trucks, mostly 18-wheelers, but I'll do other stuff as well. And yeah, where am I going with all that? I have no idea. With the advent of digital cameras and iPhones and whatnot, why shoot film? Because it's fun. Because it's something that I actually enjoy doing. It is a longer, drawn-out process. It is something that costs actual money. Film is not free. It's not like, shooting 1,000 pictures onto a memory card. You have 25 shots to a box, or 10 shots to a box, depending on what you buy. And those boxes range from $55 to $75 each. So there is a cost. The thing I like about it that it costs is it makes you slow down. It makes you take your time to compose the shot and make sure you get what you're wanting to get. You have to pay attention to your light meter and your settings on the camera and the composition and just so many different things that, when you're running around with a digital camera, you just pop, 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 pop all over the place. Pick one or two out of the 37 that you took, and you got a good shot. This is different. The other part is I like to make these into large prints. This was shot back in May, so 3-4 months ago. And it was shot on 4x5 film. This is an 8x10 and an 11x14 matte that can go into an 11x14 frame. I also have big ones too, 16x20 that are sitting in 20x24 frames that will be for sale soon. Yeah, how about that? Goofing off, that's how this all started for me. It started with a digital snapshot camera back in 2005. This is where it all started for me, right here, with a 4 megapixel digital snapshot camera that took 3-minute standard definition video clips. And I was one of the first, not the first, but one of the first truck drivers on YouTube that would put a camera in the truck and go down the road and film things, going to deliveries, going to truck stops, how-tos on how do you fuel a truck? How do you do this? People learning about truck driving through that medium. And that was kind of cool. But I don't do that anymore. I did video production for trucking for a very long time. I still do. I still offer it, with newer, modern digital video equipment and good audio and everything else to produce a professional product. But I don't really advertise it anymore because of where we are these days. The technology has gotten to the point that pretty much anybody with a phone, which is everybody, can go out and shoot video and then use AI tools or free video editors, free audio, soundtrack stuff, easy to put captions and titles and graphics, and do it themselves at a fraction of what I was charging just a couple of years ago. It's priced me out of the market, let's just say. The ease and convenience of video production for any small to medium-sized company is right there. I am the only person that I know of in the trucking industry that is using large format vintage cameras to shoot film at events, truck shows, trade shows and things of that nature. And I'm really enjoying it. That's the thing. Find the thing that you really enjoy doing and do a lot of it. And I'm trying to do as much of it as I can. Why would you want to get into large format photography? I have no idea. That's for you to figure out. Why did I get into it? It literally was one of those, it fell into my lap sort of things. So the old camera, the 1920 Conley wooden box camera or field camera was given to me by my uncle before he passed. And I didn't get an opportunity to ask him about it or where it came from. I believe it to have been my granddad's, but I just don't know for sure. So I'm just going to say it was. Why not? There's nobody going to refute that. It sat in the closet for 2 years. And because it was in there, I'd forgotten about it. And one day I was doom scrolling through Instagram and happened to see a fella out of New York that was at a motorcycle and car show up in the Midwest somewhere. I don't even remember where. But he was using a little bit different style camera, but of the same, era, early 1900s. And I'm like, I think I have something like that. And I went and pulled it out of the closet and took a look at it and took it to a couple of friends of mine and said, what do you think? Is this something that can be used? And started looking on YouTube and realizing that it was possible. It wasn't some dark art, black magic type thing that, you had to conjure anything up to make it happen. You just had to look at a bunch of videos and figure out how it's done, and then go to bnhphoto.com. Not a plug. I'm just saying you can get it a lot of places, but that's where I buy my film, my chemicals, and everything. I develop everything myself here at home. There are ways to do that. I may give a tutorial down the line. I don't know, but if you want one, let me know. I'll do my best to put one together. I'm not the best at explaining processes. I'm more showing the results and kind of how I got there a little bit, but step by step, incremental little bits and pieces trying to explain that. I get all wound out of shape. So I'm a little nervous at the moment because I'm about to, in about 3 weeks time, do my very first show. Now, when I say very first show, it's the very first show of actually trying to sell some of the prints that I've made. I have spent a couple of suitcases of cash to get a canopy, get business license and tax stuff figured out, and a couple of 100 8x10 prints, a dozen or so that are 16x20. I have roughly 106 packs of little 4x6 prints. It'll be kind of like baseball cards. You open it up and you see which 6 you get, and they might be a little different from the guy next to you that bought a deal. I'll be at a truck show in Nacogdoches, Texas called Old Town Rigdown. It's September 13th and 14th. If you're in the area, come on out and check it out. You can look at the stuff up close. You want to buy something, great. If you don't, shoot the breeze with me. Crack a cold one with me, whatever you want to do. But that's the story currently. I will have another show in October over in Lufkin, Texas I'll be at, which I think there'll be quite a few more people there. I'm looking forward to it. So the thing is, I'm a little nervous about how it's going to turn out. But if I don't try, I'll never know. I don't want to be that person that always says, what if, and doesn't take action. You've got to take action to see if the thing that you're going for is viable. And you can do it by asking people, you think this is going to work? Oh, yeah, sure. Okay. But then when you say, hey, do you have some money in exchange for this thing that I have? That's in this economy. I mean, come on. It's a lot to ask, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. So as you can see, this YouTube channel is relatively new and very slow to take off. 22, 23 subscribers currently. I've got 4 or 5 videos. A couple of them are long. There's a few YouTube shorts mixed in. Nothing of any kind of grand view counts or anything. But one of the things I learned a long time ago, and it took me a long time to figure it out, is the view counts, while nice to have big numbers, and sometimes that can help you when you're trying to achieve certain things, if you're in it to share a message and you're not in for, I got to make money, this is going to be my career, because you might be disappointed if that's what you're going to do. But if you're doing it for fun, if you're doing it for the reasons of just pure enjoyment and sharing, you're going to get a lot out of it. You may say to yourself, oh, in 10 days, I got 120 people to watch. You just spoke to 120 people. They may not have watched the entire thing, but at least they walked in the room, so to speak, to see who you are and what you're doing and what you're talking about. And if they stuck around, great. If they didn't, whatever. But rinse and repeat and keep doing that, which I'm the first to tell you, I don't do it often enough, posting videos and whatnot, that, it's something that you would have to pay a hotel conference room or something to bring in 120 people to watch whatever. So why would somebody want to get into using large format photography? You may live in a location that doesn't offer any kind of developing, to which you'd want to develop it yourself because it's less expensive that way. If that's something that you want to learn to do, go and learn and do it. I may do a tutorial at some point. I may not. There's a ton of tutorials on self-development. It's not a motivational thing. It's about your film. It's the art of the photography. It's the art of creating an image on celluloid film and emulsion. It's fun. For me, it's fun. For some people, it may not be as much fun, but I think most people that shoot film do it for fun because it brings some satisfaction, to the fact that you're able to create this thing that honestly, 30 years ago was pretty normal for people to do, whether it was a disposable camera where you'd drop it off at Walgreens and an hour later you'd get your photos, which they don't really do that anymore. All the way back to press photographers back in the day using, stuff like this, and they had to do it themselves. So, I like the DIY process of it. I like handling everything from beginning to end, from blank piece of film to a finished print myself. It's kind of fun. It's kind of cool.